this group, we there's some unique circumstances I think surrounding it, and so I think it just adds the excitement. One, we're fully as far as the program goes, we're fully in the Hertz Center. We've got renovations going on in our game venue. We were able to take a trip to the Bahamas in the summer. So our players and anybody I think around our program, we feel the commitment, and that's exciting. And then when you talk about just personnel, we have some familiar faces returning. And that's a luxury we really haven't had much the first couple years. But on top of that, we have nine guys basically that weren't available to us for conference games last January and February. Between the injuries, when you say Cherry and Timmons and Bruja, and then you say the red-shirted guys in Keenan and Birchfield, and then you had 4 freshmen. So 9 faces, along with some returning guys that you're familiar with, as far as Tarrant and Davis and Callahan, guys like that. So it's exciting. And then you add in just the NCAA legislation as far as the rules, being able to work with your players ahead of time. We feel like we've been able to put a lot of things in and maybe be ahead scheme-wise where we would have been the first 2 years. But the biggest part of that is the competition. Because we have the numbers, we have a little bit more depth, and most guys know what's already going on. The practices just have a air about them that every day the guys are strapping it up, and it's really meaningful. They're battling for minutes, they're battling for time, they're battling to see if they can't make us a stronger basketball program. And so it's been probably as enjoyable of a fall and first start to practice as I've been around.
Raise your hand if you have a question. I'll pass the microphone around.
Coach, can you tell us exactly what's being done at Fulton?
I don't know the extent of everything, and it's certainly going to be in phases. I know that it's going to have a new look. I think between the ceiling being gone and going back to the original ceiling and new seating throughout, and then as we go through phases, I know there'll be some stuff done with the lobby and the look in general, from the seats on the floor and the scores tables, things like that.
On the court itself, what do you think would be the key to see last year? Seemed to be probably one of the bigger players, some injuries, but what would be the freshman profile? What would be the key for this year?
Well, I think there's a couple. I think first and foremost, this team, and it goes with experience, increased height, increased experience, a toughness about them. Being in the we have to be a better rebounding team on both ends of the floor. And all those things are factors. I think Josh Davis was asked to do an awful lot last year and did very well, averaged almost a double-double, but he was kind of a lone ranger, on the boards in some regards. Kendall Timmons, in my mind, is one of the better rebounding guards in the league, and we lost him. Bruja was doing a nice job on the boards, and we lost him. Other guys, stepped into those spots and got some experience, but now they need to, with a year under their belts of playing at this level, they need to step up in that regard. And I think we've had a great summer of building up our bodies, understanding how important rebounding is. But I would tell you that would be probably the #1 key on both ends of the floor.
How healthy do you think you're going to be going into the season? You obviously had injury issues last year. And also I'm going to ask you about the 3 road conference games, out of conference games, Georgia Tech, Nebraska, and Alabama, playing 3 teams with pretty good basketball conferences. What are your thoughts on how important those games will be?
Well, I think both those things kind of go hand in hand. First of all, how healthy are we going to be? Everybody that's taking the floor today is really at 100%. If you ever are that in college basketball, there's always nicks and scrapes and things like that. But we're healthy now. Can those bodies hold up over the entire season? We think so, and we're certainly going to manage that because they were pretty serious injuries. With Dabney with ACL in high school, and Timmons with an Achilles, and Bruja with an ACL, and Cherry with an ACL. So those are things that you still have to manage as you go through so that they can hold up. But I think we will be, and I think with that increased depth, it gives us a much better chance of withstanding whatever the season throws our way. We know there's going to be some adversity. We know, there'll be missed time for one reason or another with different guys. But we have increased depth. Hopefully that'll allow us to go on the road where it's so tough in college basketball. And part of the reason the schedule's put together the way it is, I think all 5 road tests for us before we get into conference play are going to be just that. They're going to be extreme tests. I think you add to the 3 you mentioned. And then you say go to the Barclays Center where we have some great fan support up in New York, great venue, part of a triple header, play Hofstra from a good league, and then you go out west to play San Diego from the same league that Gonzaga and St. Mary's and BYU is in. So all 5 road tests I think will really stretch our team and tell us what we have before we head into league play.
Coach, how realistic do you think is a winning record in the league? And I know LSU and UNO are not on the schedule. Do you think there's a possibility either or both will return at some point?
Yeah, I'll start with the schedule part of it. I would tell you that know both coaches well at both schools, and we've continued to talk. Obviously UNO in their transitions, we have played them since I've been here, each of those years, and I'm sure that will probably continue in the future, and LSU the same way. We've had conversations. Hopefully we can get a series started at some point, but we'll see when it works for both programs. But I think those things would be good for our program, and certainly we look forward to those challenges. What was the other part? Oh, winning record in conference. I think this team, if we can rebound the basketball like we talked about, and find a way, I think there's going to be a lot of competitive close games, and we've got to step up at that point to the free throw line and knock down free throws. We've got to rebound the ball throughout the game, and then another big key to that is going to be, I think we have some depth, but who's going to step forward on a consistent basis? And between Ricky Tarrant, Josh Davis, Kendall Timmons, Jordan Callahan, Tomas Bruja, those type of guys, when we need a key basket, are those guys going to step up and lead the way for us? And that's one of our focuses here in the preseason. Is execution in special situations and time and score and that toughness to find a way to get over the hump and win. And I think from that standpoint, it's going to be exciting to watch this team as we develop. And I think prospects are good.
As a follow-up, just how important is it in today's college game to have that finisher, a guy, because you've been in a lot of games in the last 4 or 5 minutes and haven't been able to finish him. Is that guy currently on your roster?
I think we have several guys that can take on that role, and I think that's one of the exciting things about coaching this team when you go down there. And I think you can point to moments where all those guys have really stepped up in tough situations. I don't think there's any doubt. If you watched us last year, you said, did Ricky step up and try to carry us at times? No doubt. And was he a marked man at times? When Bruja, when he was healthy, I thought we went to him down the stretch of the games we had him. And Timmons has done it throughout his career. So, I think it's more a matter of those guys can do it. Can we find the right chemistry within our team to execute it, in a game situation now with them all on the floor? As its importance in college basketball, it is really important. Even last year, last 2 years, I think we've been shorthanded at times, but we found a way to be competitive in games. We didn't turn that into enough wins on a consistent basis in league play to be competitive necessarily in the league standings, but we were competitive in games. Well, that next step is a tough one. That's one that you have to be really committed and tough-minded, and we've talked to our guys a lot about it, and that's what we're focusing on. Let's finish possessions with the rebounds. Let's finish games with that execution and that tough basket.